Well, don't worry, we can just leave it there. It's possible
Okay.
other people want to it. All right, hello everyone. Welcome to today's call. So great to have you all. I mean, I'm so happy that a lot of you are even joining so early. Thank you all so much for joining this webinar. I can see Tosin, I can see Ibrahim, I can see Jumoke, I can see Obong, I can see LC, Sheung, Aminu, Peter, another Jumoke, Lucky, Oidamola, Omotola, Prosper. Thank you all so much for joining our webinar. We are really excited to finally be here at our first webinar for 2026. This is actually our first webinar in this year, and we have realized a lot of things have been happening in the business world, and we decided, look, we're not going to have a webinar on any other topic aside from one of the most crucial topics that is affecting businesses today. So we are really excited, that you confirm that we're right. The fact that you're all here early confirm that we're right, that this topic is actually very important. So thank you all so much for joining. One thing I'd like you all to just do, I know that we have a lot of people that registered from different places. Just put an information in the chat box. Let us know where you are signing in from, where you're joining us from. From the names, I know that there will be people from Lagos, from the north, from Kaduna or Kano or Akwa Ibom. If you can just give us an idea of where you're joining in from, let us know and let us celebrate you in the chat box. That would be really great. Awesome. I can see Adejumoke joining us from Ibadan. Wonderful. All right, Omotola from Lagos. Nice, nice. I can see we have people from Lagos joining in from Ibadan. I'm waiting for our brothers in the north, brothers in the east to also indicate. Plenty Lagos people. Nice, 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 nice. Awesome. A lot of Lagos people. Lagos people don't joke when it comes to tax. Lagos people don't joke when it comes to business. That's awesome. Akwa Ibom, nice, nice. Ubong, so great to have you join us also. Really excited to see you. Lucky Olakunle, thank you all so much for engaging. Thank you, Michael. It's going to be a very insightful webinar. We just want to get right into it. Olakunle from Delta, I see you. Thank you so much. Today is going to be a great time. And just quickly for us to get into the session, this webinar is being organized by Duplo. And for many of you who may not know Duplo, we are a B2B fintech, and we have a goal to help businesses streamline their financial operations. So anything that has to do with managing your company's finances, ensuring that things are moving on smoothly, you're able to automate processes, make payments faster, track all the expenses that are being made in your business, pay your vendors locally, pay your suppliers globally in any currency, UK, US dollar, pounds, euro, whatever currency that you have. We help you process all that. We also help you and provide you a checkout solution. If you have an e-commerce business or an online business where you need a payment gateway for people to make payments, we also do that. We also provide API integration to all our solutions, even FRS invoicing. If you want to generate invoices that are NRS compliant, some of which we're going to learn about today, Duplo also does that. And we are so excited. Today, we're going to be focusing on the recent tax reforms that have come into play. I guess in the last 6 months, there have been so much information going out. Many of them are wrong, many of them are correct. Right? But we're going to hear from our expert today. We have a very special person to Duplo and a special person in this industry who is going to be taking us through this topic. Her name is Odunola Ewetola. Please forgive me if I murdered your name. I've been trying to get it right. Odunola Ewetola is going to be our guest for today. She's going to be taking us through today's topic on the new tax reforms and the new FIRS e-invoicing system for businesses. Now, just to make it clear, all our conversations today will be around businesses, not personal tax or how it affects personal life, basically for businesses, right? And if you have any question, you have anything you want to say, we have a chat box that you can just put in your questions and we will take it after her presentation. We also have a Q&A session, a Q&A section um, on the menu at the bottom of your screen. You can just click on it and drop your question. We really prefer if you use that feature, but if you can't find the Q&A feature, just put your question in the chat box and we will respond to you. Will a recording of the webinar be shared? Yes, yes, definitely we're going to share a recording, but I would advise that you don't depend on the recording and just stay on the call so that you're able to get it, because most times when people say they will watch a recording, they never do. Right, so please just try and stay on the call and follow on with the conversation. All right, we're going to go straight into it, and I'm going to introduce our special guest. Her name is Odunola Ewetola. She's a skilled professional with over 5 years of diverse experience in accounting and tax. She holds a bachelor's degree in local government administration from the prestigious Obafemi Awolowo University. I know if this was a physical event, I'll be hearing great effects. Well, no, this is a webinar. You don't have the chance to do that. Her career started as an accountant in the hospitality industry, after which she worked with some consulting firms where her interest in taxation was strongly ignited. Odunola's expertise spans multiple sectors, such as top IP networking service providers, that's Netcom Africa Limited. She's worked at Chowdeck Limited. Which is a leader in on-demand food delivery. Many of us know Chowdeck. She's also worked at Mira App Limited and other prominent institutions in Nigeria. She's a chartered accountant and the founder of Accountants Forum Community, a very large community that is dedicated to mentoring, fostering growth, connection, and success for young accountants. She currently works as a tax consultant in one of the big four consulting firms. Let me also just add, because I know she's very humble and she will not want to mention this, but she was recognized, by the Presidential Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms Committee as one of Nigeria's top 20 voices in tax reform education. So you can be sure that whatever information you're getting here is accurate and correct. Right? She's going to walk us through what you need to know as a business owner about the recent tax reform, or like some people like to defend and argue, oh no, the tax reforms are not recent, there's nothing new, we're just now trying to implement it because the laws have always been there. But she's going to give us that truth, and she will also take us through some of the things as a business owner you need to know about the new NRS E-Invoicing framework, how it works, what requirements you need, and what you should be doing to stay ahead. Without further ado, I'm just going to introduce our guest to take the floor. And please, as she starts speaking, I'd like us to give her a digital round of applause. There's a reaction button there, so just please clap for our guest. And as I welcome Odunola Ewetola to the call, thank you all so much. Thank you for joining us,
All
Odunola.
right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Promise. And thank you for murdering my name, actually. Don't worry, after this call, talk about it.
We'll do a practice, right? I'll repeat it like 100 times till I get it.
Yeah, so it's fine. My name is Odunola, right? Just like you mentioned. So I want to say a very big thank you to the Duplo team for ensuring that not just their customers, not just their clients would benefit from this, but um, everyone who is interested in moving their business to the next level, right? It's an open one. So I actually appreciate Duplo, appreciate the team for this, and also for bringing me on board. Thank you. All right, thank you so much. So we'll be going straight to to our topic, our webinar topic for today. Please, can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, it's loaded
All
now.
right. Okay. Downloading, right?
Correct, yes.
Okay. All right. So I'm so sure we must have seen like several things, several information out there regarding the new tax reform, like so many things, right? But e-invoicing is actually one of the new ones, right? And then that's what we'll be talking about. Just like Promise mentioned, might not dig into like personal income tax and the likes, right? So we'll be speaking strictly on e-invoicing. And then okay, let me just give us an overview of what, yeah. So this is an overview of what we'll be talking about today: e-invoicing, step-by-step registration process, mandatory fields, how e-invoicing works, compliance rules and requirements, adoption of invoicing by LSCs and SMEs, role of accredited partners, and then questions. So I hope to be able to, you know, speak briefly and also in an understandable manner to each and every one of us on all this content, right? So please let's pay attention. All right. So like we all know, right? For all businesses, let me sorry, I want to minimize my screen. Okay, please hold on. Please a second. All right. I'm sure we can still see my screen, right?
Yes, we
Okay.
can.
All right. Yeah, so definite for we actually know that for all businesses, right? You should, even small businesses, everybody would actually produce like an invoice that okay, this is the invoice for my product. But then um this is going through another direction, right, from the government, and then there are actually reasons why this is in place. So I'll just give us an explanation of what invoicing really is, right? Invoicing is an invoice generated in a structured electronic format. And when we talk about the structured electronic format, it's not what we do normally that, okay, you have like a Word document, please scan, and then you tell your colleague, please scan it, and then, and scan it into like a PDF file and then let's send it. So I'm here to just let you know that e-invoicing is actually beyond that. It's beyond saying, okay, you're submitting a paper document. Yes, some organizations, because I know that we have some representative of large organizations here and small or medium businesses. So it is also still beyond what we use on our normal ERP systems. Because fine, we know we have several ERPs out there. We have Sage. Sage, I think it was formerly Pastry. We have Zoho. We have Oracle Suite, and many other apps, many other ERPs like that, right? So, and those ERPs, they actually have several functionalities, right? Sometimes it is not what you have, not the field you have in Zoho. That might not be what you would have um, in SAP, and they all have different technicalities, right? So that is one of the reasons for this. But for e-invoicing, I'm going to highlight that what the first thing that makes it different, right, is the format that it tends to achieve, right? Just like I mentioned initially, not the PDF or whatsoever format. So the first one here, it uses XML format and JSON. Back then, I used to have a brother. I still have a brother. So one of my brothers rather, when I because he codes, right? So when I just check his laptop or something, I'll shall see so many codes. I'll see JavaScript. I shall know if I don't know anything about it. I've seen it before. And those tiny words and letters, like it's just so annoying because I'm like, how am I able to read this, right? So that is where we are going into. And yeah, that is what we're actually going into as a country. So the expected format from government is actually XML and JSON. However, I would like this to be um, I would like it to be very communicative, right? Can someone? I'm not telling us to check Google. Please, what is the full meaning of XML and JSON? Please. I know I already mentioned JavaScript, but the remaining ON and XML, please, um, I trust Promise to give you a gift after this call. So while I continue, please let me drop the full meaning of XML and JSON. Yeah, we are learning together, right? Okay, so that's pretty much it. I'll quickly run through to the next external. Thank you. Please, Promise. Please help us not to the name. I'm not the one that made the promise, so that nobody will come to my DM that I promised them something. Okay, so please just hold on. I don't know what just happened. Okay, let me stop sharing my share. Sorry, just okay. Oh, we are good now. Okay, yeah. So you might want to say that, okay, I want to register. What are the processes? Or some of us might have actually gone through the process and probably stopped, like halted that this is the technical. So this is just the step by step process, right? So the first thing, there is an NRS portal. So you go to the NRS portal, just type it on your Google, you'll be able to. So you create an update or you update your business profile because yeah, you create and update your business profile with definitely your details, right? So you fill in your details. That is like the process, nothing more serious than it. But then there's still something very serious, but just trying to let you know that okay, these are just the processes involved. So there's a space to apply for e-invoicing services. So let's say maybe as a company or whatever, you are trying to um, create like an e-invoicing portal or okay, I'll still explain when I get down there. Okay, so you apply for e-invoicing services, that's with NRS. After that, you assign authorized system user. Definitely, not everyone would have an access, right? You wouldn't give everyone access as a user. So you do that. And then, sorry, hold on. Yeah, so after that, you choose the integration method. So this is where it becomes a little bit technical, right? Choosing your integration method. Because as a small business, would you say that I I want to go for the direct integration or you want to be an accredited partner, right? So this is to show us clarity that this is where the partner comes in because you might have been confused or might have been asking questions, right? That where does all these partners and the likes, where do they come in? How do they come in? What will they do? So that's the part of what we'll be explaining in today's webinar. So let's to go to the next one. I'll say explain the integration method like as much as possible. Yeah, I'll explain it very well in the latter slide. And then after choosing your integration method, and maybe you want to be a direct system integrator or you want to be an accredited partner, after that, then you can complete your testing and then receive approval from the government, from NRS. So that is the step-by-step registration process, right? So I just mentioned 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Um, so for these mandatory fields, right? I wrote here, I said the fields on your ERP must match with NRS requirements, right? So in my company where I currently work, the ERP we were using, or the ERP we are using, right? When the old integration, let's start working on when everything started, right? So we had to do like a number of things because when we generate our invoice, most times it's just the few informations that we will just have on the invoice. The point is that as long as we are sending out invoice and they are paying us our money, but what government is saying is no, we need to be on the same page, right? So it is what we want on our fields, like line items, one after the other. That is what you should also have. So with that, you would have to integrate or update or work on your ERP. Like I mentioned several ERPs the other time, right? So whatever ERP you're using, hopefully, but I'm very much sure of the ones we have used, right? Like SAP, I've not tested with others, so I'm speaking from the one we currently use right now, right? So I mentioned here, I mentioned four things. However, they're actually more than this, right? But so we have the supply information such as legal business name. So I'm the business name of the business is Odunola. So my business name, my CIN, fiscal address, and contact details. So you have the buyer. So your information, the buyer information, such as the customer name, CIN, address, and contact details. You might want to say that, oh, and it's not a big deal. I actually have it. All right. You'll be surprised that that is where KYC, that's when you realize that most businesses, right, their KYC process is not as solid as it should be, right? So that is one thing about this is that we need to take as small businesses, that's number one thing. I'll be asking us for our take home after this meeting. So the number one thing is that as business, we need to ensure that our KYC is strong, is solid, because without that, um, it's going to create issues by the time you want to start transmitting invoices and the like. So ensure your KYC team or whatsoever, they are getting all the necessary details and not just getting the details. Everything is being documented on your system, on your ERP system. So it's not just manually getting them, collecting them, and so many things like that. So ensure you have a strong KYC in your organization. So the third one I have here, invoice details should contain here a unique invoice number. So in case you want to ask yourself again that where will Duplo or any other partner come in, this is where they would come in helping out in generating this unique invoice number, in also, okay, I also have here invoice issue date and time, invoice type. So we have the tax invoice, the credit note, and the debit note. I'll be explaining this part also later, this credit note and debit note. Yeah, I have something to explain there. So the fourth one, transaction details, which includes the description of the goods, which I'm sure every invoice would actually always have that. You describe your goods or your services, the quantity and unit price, taxable amount, and then the total tax amount. Okay. So let's go to how invoicing works, right? How does it really work? Like for us to really be very practical with it. Like I mentioned under the step-by-step process, I said, okay, your business creates an invoice. Okay, yeah. So let's look at it practically, right? That, okay, I want to transmit an invoice. How will it work? So as a business now, Odunola Limited, I created an invoice in my system using SAP or whatever to as an instance. created an invoice. This is the invoice. I would still have it in, so I might have created it in either Word document or PDF, anyone. I have the invoice, right? And I spoke about mandatory fields the other time. So remember, while creating the invoice, those mandatory fields need to be there. That's one. And then the next thing, sorry, okay. So, and then the next thing, I also mentioned something initially that when you create that, that's what I'll talk about under unique reference. So after creating your invoice, let's go to the next one. The invoice is sent electronically to the tax authorities platform. If you remember when I was explaining the step-by-step process, there was a point where I mentioned that you choose your, let me go back there so I can check it. Okay, yeah. Choose integration method, right? Either a direct integrator, system integrator, or accredited partner. So let's come back here. So yeah, I said the invoice is sent electronically to the tax authorities platform. So for this, if you had chosen your integration method or whatever, right, and you've also done your necessary registration, then you are able to do this. But because it is actually expensive, I'm sure Duplo will be able to talk about that. It is like for you to be there are so many for you to be a system integrator or APP, right? I think is even if someone is saying it's not a lot or something, for me particularly, I'll say it is a lot because we have thousands of companies in Nigeria, right? And what NRS is actually doing is transparent to the extent that you can see the list of accredited partners on their sites. You just go to NRS, you want to check the accredited partners, right? You would see, fine, Duplo is actually part of them and some other companies. But you see that the accredited ones, the accredited partners, right? They are actually less than 100. So for you to see, if it's something very, very, very swift and that you get it out and what's the you'd have seen it that up to 1,000 companies would have been listed. But now, in fact, to even be very factual, it wasn't up to 50. Yeah, the list of companies that have been accredited because, okay, you have to get this license, you have to get, I think there's a PEPO license, you would have to, like several meetings with NRS. I think there's something else. Yeah, you have to prove to them that your system can actually do that. So many confidentiality, signature, different things like that. So that is why for now we have few companies that have been accredited. So back to the second point, the invoice is sent electronically to the tax authority platform. So because of everything I mentioned now, that maybe for now your company is unable to be like an SI, a system integrator, or an APP. So now I'm giving that this is now the reason why you would have to send to an accredited partner, just like Duplo. So I hope that is clear now, right? Because I know so many questions might be coming to our mind. Why do I need to? So this is the reason. So the third one. So what will that accredited partner do? The invoice is validated. They'll validate it and assign it, and a unique reference would also be assigned, right? So there was something I noted there about this reference number. So like I mentioned, under that mandatory field the other time. So I said that you might have some of those data before and you're saying, oh, it's not a big deal. But now everything becomes a big deal because they're all very useful, right? So for instance, this invoice reference number, IRN, is being formed by three different things, right? So the first thing is actually the combination of your invoice number. So you need to be sure that your invoice numbers are not duplicated. They are, let me just use the word top notch, they are fine. You know, all those scattered invoice numbers are like, no, so that would stop. So that's the first thing. Your invoice number, NRS will generate like 8 digit number for you. And there's also a third one. So let me check it. The 8 character service ID. Okay, and an invoice date stamp. So it comes in year, month, and date. So the combination of those three, that is what would make up your unique reference. So you can't do that on your own or say your system or your ERP, it cannot do that. So that is one of the reasons for actually needing a partner for that. And the next one, the validated invoice is shared with the customer. Yes. So once all this has been done, then you share with your customer, which is you and I, right? And the last thing, the data is stored for compliance and reporting, right? So let's go to our next slide. Okay, so we have, let me check my time. I have a few more minutes, so I'll just quickly go through this. But I believe you are learning something, right? Okay, and I want to try to be as simple with my explanation as possible. Okay, thank you. So compliance rules and requirements. So under the compliance rules, we've been emphasizing, we keep emphasizing that number one, invoices must be generated in real time or near real time, right? So, and this is how it works. You generate your invoice, just like I mentioned, you send it to your partner, your partner, like your system integrator or APP, send to them, and then it's been generated within 24 hours. And that is what will be shared with your customers. So the next one, invoice data must match your accounting record. Yeah, so to explain this, there are situations, and everything is crying you, right? And at least to a large extent, I've been in that water too. That's okay. We have, let's say you have 50 invoices for a week, or let's say 10 invoices. You have 10 invoices for a day that you want to transmit. But because number one, your KYC was not well done, you are now unable to generate one of your clients. You're unable to transmit one of your client invoices, right? So as the Nigerian, you might want to say, okay, I want to transmit it. And then you send the 9 for transmission. So those are one of the issues. Your invoice data must match your accounting records, because in your accounting records, you have invoices for 10 clients, and in your transmitted invoice list, you have 9. 9 and 10, it doesn't match. And how will government be able to trace and know all of these things? It is when you get to a situation, right? It is when you get to the situation, and we are actually getting there, that government is saying that do not receive any invoice that is not transmitted. So that's when we'll see that, oh, there's a real problem here. Okay, so the next one, so that's the explanation to that. It must match your accounting records. The next one, once your invoice has been validated, right, invoices cannot be altered. So you might not want to say that, oh, so what about situations where because no one is beyond error or mistake. So what about situations where there was an error in the invoice, and NRS had already transmitted. What will I do? Earlier I mentioned that I was going to explain credit note and debit note again, right? So this is what I'll explain it. So in situations where um, let's be practical with this, you sent an invoice of 1 million naira, right? And let's assume that, oh, you just sent it, but you didn't know that your business partner had already negotiated with the customer, and then there is now an 100,000 naira discount, but you had already transmitted 1 million. So what do you do? And they had already concluded that no, it's 900,000. That's far. Okay, we went to the same. Let me have some favors. We went to Great Effect together now. So, my guy did this thing for me, 900,000 kind of thing. So, what? See, you don't need to panic. So, what you would do is, on the mandatory fields and the likes, right? The formats that NRS requires us to use. What you need to do is you fill another line item. So the invoice number that you used for that 1 million naira, then that is what you will use for the new invoice number, right? That's one. And then yeah, and then there is a particular column for credit note. So you will notice there that, oh, this is a credit note. Right? Why? Because you are trying to agree with that initial. Sorry, you are trying to reduce it from that 1 million to the 900,000 that was now agreed upon. So that's the reason for the credit note. Maybe there is a discount or any other thing. And for debit is like, oh, we agreed. You sent 1 million naira invoice, but no, it's supposed to be 1.5 million, right? So what you will just send as an alternative is a debit note. So you just raise like a debit note sent to FRS. So that would reduce your for debit note. So that would increase what the customer will be paying. So for the credit note, it will then reduce what the customer. So you don't need to panic that, oh, once I send to them, once it's transmitted, no. So you just use a debit or a credit note, whatever the case is. Just give me a few more minutes to be done. So I know that we have people representing several companies on this in this webinar. So for large companies and also SMEs. So for large companies, right, we know that you have nowhere to hide, right? You ought to have been transmitting by now. So I wrote the first phase of implementation. Yeah, it started with large companies, large taxpayers with an annual turnover of 5 billion or more based on your AFS. Yeah, true. So B2B, B2G, B2B, that's business to business, business to government transactions, and also a mandatory registration of the FRS merchant ballot solution. So we know this, that definitely large companies should have started transmitting, and if not started transmitting, so you can still, it's not too late, right? And then just because of the technicalities and everything, then the best thing is also, okay, just have a partner with someone, a company that has been accredited. So the only thing is you partner with them so that you'll be able to get those invoices that are that has a reference number and a date stamp, right? So large companies can still partner with accredited companies. So for small and medium, I would say, oh, I'm not concerned. So it's just large companies. In fact, you should be more concerned than the large companies. Yeah, should be more concerned, like more concerned. Okay, so I wrote here, I said, even where not mandatory yet, early adoption is encouraged. I think I wrote something. Yeah, just a minute. Okay. Oh, yeah. We also have here, we said it will reduce last minute compliance pressure because as it is going, I think I even wrote it on LinkedIn sometimes back because I can just see that clearly that whether small and middle enterprise, whether I like it or not, it will get to everybody. In a pidgin word, there's a word, sorry for using this word, it go reach, it go touch, like it will touch everybody, right? So government felt that large companies, if they had started with smaller companies, there'll be a lot of noise outside. Even the whole um payer what's it called? Pay as you earn. We are now everywhere just got silent recently. Like the noise was too much. You should not say small businesses should start doing um invoicing like now. Like the country just go upside down. So they started with large companies because they know that they should be able to at least afford at least number one, maybe partnering with an SI or APP and doing all of that because it is actually stressful. I won't lie to you. I won't. Yeah, I still have some on my neck right now, and I'm like, oh my goodness. So, and after then, once it is successful with large companies, everything is fine. Let's look at it this way, right? I'm a large company A, we're a large company B. Government says that we should start transmitting our invoices. So let's say, me for instance, large company A, I sent an invoice to the other large company, right? Definitely to be a transmitted invoice. And they too, they sent an invoice to me. So everything is going on fine. And it gets to a particular time, which is actually getting there. And government is saying that you are a large, fine, because there's no how large companies too would not work with smaller companies, right? And then me as a large company, I sent an invoice to a small company, a transmitted invoice to a small company. That's fine. But a small company or medium is giving me an invoice, right? Like I'm receiving an invoice from them and it's not transmitted. So this is where I'm going to get to that point that um, government would say that as a large company, maybe your vendors, this invoice, all your invoices, either the invoice you're sending out or the ones you are receiving, should be a transmitted invoice. That's why, see, they won't come in a direct way. It won't be straight away, it won't be direct. That's when smaller companies will not want to lose the job with the larger companies. They'll start running it as better. I need to start transmitting my invoices because uh, the company I'm working, the companies we are doing business with, they said it's only transmitted invoice that they want because government has mandated me as a large company that invoice I'm receiving, it must be a transmitted one. So there's no how. That's why I mentioned initially, it will touch everybody. So that so now the best advice is that even if it's not mandatory yet, adoption is encouraged. Early adoption is encouraged. Please and please, you can start adopting so that by the time it's not mandatory for small businesses and medium businesses should start, it should reduce last minute compliance pressure that everybody
Awesome.
and that's when so like that. And the third one, ability to spread compliance cost over time. So we are able to spread the compliance cost over time. So this is the last thing. I'm sure I've really been talking about the role of accredited partners. So I shouldn't spend so much time here, right? So access existing business system. So what we do, they will access your existing business system that, okay, this is it, and definitely they know what to do, right? They know what to do, how to come in, configure and integrate NRS APIs. So assist in configuring and integrating this. And also, they'll also help conduct testing and certification, right? So it depends on what the organization wants to go for. The okay, do I want to be a system integrator? I want to partner with an accredited institution to ensure compliance with regulatory fields and also provide staff training. So I'm sure that they would all accredited partners from time to time can be assisting and helping your the staff of an organization to be able to just transit into the system easily and then offer ongoing technical support. All right, so I hope
Awesome.
these few points of mine have been able to explain what e-invoicing entails. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank
Yeah,
you
let
so
me just
much.
put this down. So, and I think I've
Sorry.
asked for some so too much. Yep. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Odunola. If I'm not murdering it again.
Yeah, you tried. You tried.
Okay, Odunola, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Thank you for all the information that you've shared. Very, very insightful session. I know we have someone that has dropped a question on the chat box. There are some in the Q&A section, but before we go there, I had a couple of questions that came in from our registration that I want us to just touch. So we'll spend maybe the next 5 to 10 minutes answering some of these questions. Yeah, I said 10 minutes max. So answer some of these questions. Um, and then we have also someone on the team from Duplo who would just do a 5 minutes demo of what the Duplo's FIRS invoicing platform looks like. So Duplo has, like Odunola Odunola said, Duplo is one of the accredited partners to help you integrate your systems and your business to the NRS platform and help you ensure that your invoices are compliant with the NRS system or the NRS format, right? So we have somebody on the call who is a product manager at Duplo to just give us a brief insight into what the platform looks like, what the FRS invoicing platform that Duplo has built looks like. She's going to be quick with it, but you can also schedule a demo with us after she presents it if you want more information about how the system works and how it affects your business. But let's just take one or two of the questions that we have. We have so many questions today, and I'm going to try as much as possible that we don't shoot too much beyond our time. So the first question we got during registration was, and I think you answered this part already. Does this invoicing affect all businesses, or is there a certain size of business that it affects? I think you already answered that, right? It affects all businesses, whether you're small, you're medium, or you're large. Another person is asking if my invoices are mostly for foreign customers, do I still need to do NRS invoicing? If I mostly invoice to foreign customers abroad, do I still need to be NRS compliant?
Okay. So just quickly respond to that, right?
Mhm.
Okay. Yes. So any invoice you're issuing, so it's just a simple yes.
Okay. All right. Does the e-invoicing affect my tax audit at the end of the year if I don't start the e-invoicing system maybe until mid-year? So somebody is asking if they're able to complete the whole setup on the portal and everything by maybe June, July, how will it affect their tax audit by the end of the year?
So for the first question, will it affect? Yes, it will absolutely. But how will it affect? It will be a mixture of like the manual because government mentioned that we should actually start January 1st. But then we understand that so many businesses are still trying to get their feet on it. So it will just be a mixture of the what you have, the manual one for the first 6 months, and then the next 6 months. But the point is that government has seen your effort that yes, you are now compliant. Do you understand? But I don't know how. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Okay. And the third question we had on registration is is there any specified or specific penalty for not complying with the e-invoicing mandate?
Yes, yes. Now they wrote it there. Like in fact, When I saw the penalty, I was even scared myself. I said, God, I beg go. It's even a daily penalty, yeah. But I mean, I'll just check it again. But there is a penalty. Yes.
Okay. Maybe if there's a link to the information where the penalty is being stated, you can share
Okay,
it with us.
yeah, no
I
problem.
can share it with everyone. All right. All right. Some other questions we have from Ubong. Is the invoicing with NRS compulsory for all? I think we answered this one already. Okay. So he's saying, if is the invoicing with NRS compulsory for all organization? If not, which organization is exempted? For a school that gets over 1 billion revenue, our customers are just minors and we invoice them over 1,000. Most mandatory field and requirements will not be available like TIN for customers and the rest. How do I manage this if schools are not exempted from this invoicing?
Sorry, what number is that? I'm also trying to.
Okay, it's the first question on the Q&A box.
Okay, please, can you hear me
Please.
repeat
So
that?
the person owns a school. He's
Mm.
asking if there are exemption, if there are businesses that are exempted, and he wants to know if maybe a school can be exempted because the invoice amount that they push out is very very little. How are they going to manage it when the invoice amount that they issue are very little? Do they still need to do this invoicing?
Yes, they actually still need to, because the point is that, and where government is actually going, that it is all businesses, right? Even school is also a business. The point is, even for school initially, we know that, okay, at a school you just file and do all of those things, but as long as you are invoicing, for now, government mentioned B2B, business to business, and business to government, and business to government also. So I believe that for the B2C, they should release circular on how, because on how to go on it, like on how to really track that. But I've not really seen a proper circular for the B2C, like
Okay.
businesses to customer. So that is why they even say, oh, business to businesses and business to government first. So
All right. All
that's
right.
it.
Thank you so much for that. I think that answers that. Second one, how does this apply to service businesses? You mentioned it must match your accounting records. I think it just applies, right? Whether you're a product business or service businesses, we all
Yeah,
generate
either
invoices.
product or service. Yeah.
Yes. So you're definitely going to. Um, okay. Advice if recording will be shared after the call. Yes, recording will be shared after the call. Is the invoicing system different from the merchant buyer system? Somebody is asking, is the
Come
invoicing
again.
system different? Is the invoicing system different from the merchant buyer system?
No, no, it's not. It's the normal merchant buyer system, MBS here. It's not. It's the same thing.
All right. All right. Thank you. How does this invoicing work for a tech company selling retail products to the mass market? Where the company's revenue come in small amounts and the transactions are instant. How does the 24 hours validation window apply here? Maybe you want to answer
Okay.
that because yeah.
Yes. So for that, we understand, because I've done something with a fintech before, right? That we use, what were we using for this fintech? Like, the point is that you see a lot of transactions like every day, right? So this boils down to, because definitely you would be, it boils down to a reconciliation officer, right? There's something we consult them that, okay, this is what we received for, let's say, I don't want to use child deck as instance, but the point is, maybe for other businesses, because most of the money that is actually coming to your account as a fintech sef, they are not really your money, they are customers' money, right? And then it is the little on it, like maybe your own gain as a company. That is actually, maybe that's what forms your services rendered and all sort of things like that, right? So what would work is, because that's what most fintech, that's what they do actually, that maybe I've forgotten that particular word, like a day after, that is when they pay their customer or something. I think there's a particular word. So for this particular thing, since you are settling your customers the following day, so this can also work for a 24 hours. So that's why government said real time or near real time. So
Okay.
for a fintech like this, near real time would work.
Okay. I
Yes,
think that
actually,
also
yes.
answers this other question. So, is it a must to record all invoices instantly as it occurs, or it can be collated together and done when ready on the NRS?
Yes, the same explanation for that fintech. So that's like either, so government also knows that yes, some people the real time will work for them, and the other one sometimes the real time cannot work for every business. So that's why they said near real time. So and look at the situation. Okay, fine. I'm in a consulting environment where I have people that work like maybe. So let's assume by my own 5 p.m. I'm collating invoices for the day. I'm sending it um to our accredited partner whatsoever, right? So what about invoices that are generated by 6 p.m., 11 a.m.? Because when you tell staff that 5 p.m. is the close of business, we know in the Nigeria we are 5 p.m. is not most people's close of business, 11 p.m. So what we do is near real time that okay, in first thing the following day, all the invoices for the previous day, send them out for transmission. So that falls under near real time.
All right. Thank you so much. I think that we've touched most of the questions that we have, right? And I'm just going, because of our time, I'm just going to go straight into the brief demo, right? So that we'll quickly show what the Duplo FIS invoicing platform looks like. Annecy, are you ready for us?
Yes, I am.
All right. All right. So please, within the next 5 minutes, just take us through what the Duplo FIS invoicing system looks like. Thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Hmm, just give me a sec. Just trying to share my screen.
Okay. While you're sharing it, there's one question I think that might be useful here. Okay, I think she already answered it. If you are able to set this up end to end as a small business, yes, there is. I think the one on the portal, you are able to set it up. But I think she has also mentioned that you need to also work with accredited partners to help you, stay compliant to the end. There's a limit to what you can do. Right? You can only do the setup on the NRS portal and maybe generate your invoices. But to make your invoices then compliant, you have to work with an accredited partner that's been approved by the NRS. Right. So please let's take note of that. Um, Honestly, let me know when you're ready. Think I can just okay. I think you're ready now. If you're speaking, you're muted, honestly.
Sorry, can you see my screen?
Yes, yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, apologies for that. All right. Good afternoon again, everyone. Thank you for joining the call. So I'll just be walking you briefly through what we have on the Duplo platform for registering your invoices and sending it to FRS. So when you want to send in your invoice to FRS, there's some certain details that we need to be able to process these invoices to you. We have a setup guide that you can download and just walk through the different information. This is what it looks like. So we walk you through step by step where to go to, how to enable your business for invoicing, how to select Duplo as your system integrator. I heard Odunola talk about system integrators and access point providers during the presentation. So on your dashboard, you get to select us as your system integrator. And then you can then go back to our platform and fill in all the business details that you need, your ID, API key, and client secret key. These are all embedded and encrypted on the platform, but it will allow us be able to transmit those invoices to FRS on your behalf. So once you have submitted that for validation and we are certain that those credentials are correct, we can then go ahead to, fill in your invoice. So on our platform, you can actually create your invoice. You can put in your business logo so that that appears on your invoice as well. You can go ahead and select your invoice type. There are different invoice types that the FIRS has approved. So you can select that. You can select your tax currency and the currency of the invoice, whether it is in Naira or USD or pounds. Select all of that, fill in the details of the issue date and payment request. You can also then put in the supply details, which are your details. So when you sign up on our platform, we have all these details for you. So they would automatically be pre-filled on your invoice and then you can view them. You can also go ahead to either select a customer that you want to send the invoice to or create a new customer. So these are some information that I'll be requesting from you when you want to send invoice to a customer, let's say another business, right? So you can fill in all of this information. But the buyer information is also optional. So if it's a situation where you do not have the TIN of your customer at that moment, you can still create that invoice. And then this is where you put in all the invoice items or all the items that you're creating an invoice for, right? You can put in the description, the units, whether it's kilogram, gram, pounds, hours, weeks, months. So it caters both for products and for services, right? Then you put in the quantity. So let's say it's 2 kilograms or 2 weeks, for example, you can put that in and put in the unit price. We will do a calculation for you. You can also select the tax rates, whether it's a VAT, whether there's no tax included, you select that and you can add as many items as possible for that invoice. We do a calculation for you and you can also go ahead to add a discount. If you have a discount on your invoice, you can add either a percentage discount or a flat discount. So when you add all of that, sorry. When you add all of those details, you can then go ahead to create and validate that invoice. So when you validate the invoice, it just means that you're validating it against what FIRS actually wants. And if what you have filled is correct, which we have already built in place to make sure that it is always correct, you would see that your invoice has been validated, and then you can then go ahead to submit this to FIRS, right? And when FIRS feedback comes, you can either see if they approved your invoice or if they rejected your invoice. If they rejected your invoice, you will see the reason why they rejected it. We'll show it to you on the platform, and then you'll be able to resubmit that invoice. So when you want to resubmit, we're basically just going to create a duplicate so you don't have to start from scratch, and then you can make changes to what FIRS said is wrong, and then you resubmit that to FIRS. And then once it is approved, you can also send that invoice to your customer. So you can put in their email address and you send that invoice to them and they will receive the invoice for them to make payments. So that's just a brief demo of what we've currently built for the invoicing feature on Duplo. But if you have any more questions or you want to see how best we can tailor this to your business, I'm sure you'll be able to reach out to us. The link will be shared in the chat for you to reach out to us. Thank you very much for this.
Thank you so much, NSC. Thank you so much for that insight and for showing us the platform. Yes, a link will be shared on the chat on the chat box in a few minutes. You can use that link to book a demo with us. If you would like a one-on-one session with us to look, to see more details about our FRS invoicing platform. And also, if you have other questions for your business about how this whole thing affects your business and how Duplo can help or how we can partner with you to ensure that you're compliant and you're doing the right thing, just you can click on the link. I've added it to the chat box. You can use it, book a time with us, and then we'll be able to meet up with you. The team will meet up with you and then answer all your questions. Yes, Emmanuel, apologies. I missed your your 10 questions, but I think that we already answered a few of some of your questions. Um, and what are the exact technical data fields required in an e-invoice? I think that that was answered. Penalties have also been okay. So penalties for late e-invoice submissions or non-compliance. Okay, so you know what we're going to do because of our time. I know that we've answered one or two of your questions. Odunola mentioned that you cannot cancel an invoice that has been suspended, but you can raise a debt note or a credit note as it applies. When it comes to amendments, right? I'm not sure about the council, but what I'm going to do, because we're already out of time, right? I'm going to ensure that you get an email response to all your questions. We're going to list out all your questions and answer them. Please, we're going to answer your questions offline. We're going to send it to your inbox. Pardon us for not answering them live. Has this been integrated into all business that are signed up for Duplo? Not yet. You should see the module on your Duplo platform in the coming weeks, right? You should see the module on your Duplo platform. That's for those who are already on the Duplo platform. You will see FIRS invoicing there, where you can now generate invoices that are NRS, not FIRS, NRS compliant. But yes, I mean, it will be far easier for an existing customer of Duplo to do all this. I can guarantee you. So if you're not even a Duplo customer yet, I think that you want to, sign up on the Duplo platform and start the process, right? Because the process doesn't just, it's not a process you can finish in 2 days, right? You need to start from, yeah, I think she has mentioned, get to the NRS portal and do all your setup. And then once you've gotten to the point where you need to now start interacting with us as a partner, you need to first sign up on our platform. Also, upload your compliance documents on the Duplo platform so that you can now access the FIS invoicing platform. So it's good if you today sign up on the Duplo platform. If you haven't booked the demo yet, there's a link I've dropped in the section in the chat session. Please book a demo with our team so that they'll have a meeting with you, understand your business, and then once you are all aligned or we are all aligned, you can now sign up and start your process, right? So that once you are ready to integrate with the NRS portal, it will be a seamless flow for you. But I can assure you that if you're already a Duplo customer, the process will be faster for you. Businesses that have signed up on a Duplo platform, do they still need to go to the NRS portal? Yes, you still need to do your setup on the NRS portal. But like I said, you can always reach out to us and we can guide you and support you. As our customers, we can advise. Right? But yes, you still need to go to the NRS portal to do your setup. I think there was one last thing. Also, we have an ebook that we have written that I guess will give you a lot more insight into this. I'm just going to share the link on the chat box. There's an ebook we have written that has the details of everything you need to know about the FIRS e-invoicing platform. Right. So if you have more questions, you can just go in here. Let me drop it in the chat section. You can go in here and go through the ebook. The ebook is quite concise and very detailed. We've compiled it just for you. And even the email, the follow-up email we'll send to every one of you will have that link. But you can click on the link that's currently in the chat box and visit that web page, fill in your information, and immediately the ebook will be in your email. You can go through. So that's it. Thank you all so much for joining the webinar. We apologize for going 8 minutes ahead of time. We would like to thank our special guest, Odunola. Please pardon me, I will learn it. Odunola, thank you so much for taking the time to take us through your slides and for giving us all this information about the recent tax reforms and FRS invoicing platform. We really appreciate you. Please, can we give her a round of applause? It's not easy for her to come on here and take us through all this. So please, thank you so much. Let's give her a round of applause, guys. Let's give her a round of applause. All right. If you have any further questions, you will get an email from us. If you have any question, please feel free to just reply the email. Our team will be happy to respond to any inquiries that you have about this topic. Thank you all so much for joining, and we'll see you at our next webinar.